Okay, guys, cancellation of debt. We're gonna do the downest and dirtiest version we could possibly do, but in a sense, for a VITA program like us, down and dirty works pretty well because cancellation of debt, we can pretty much, from what I'm seeing, we can only really do cancellation of debt when, in fact, that debt's going to be reported as income. Cancellation of debt, if you're in a public accounting office, the name of the game of cancellation of debt is let's find an exception so that they don't have to report cancellation of debt. Here's the general rule. If a taxpayer has debt forgiven, meaning 1 minute they owe someone or some entity, and the next minute they don't. If debt is forgiven, if debt is canceled, that is income. Now that blows people's mind because they didn't get cash. But think of it this way, okay? 1 minute I owe $120,000 on my home loan, and the next minute I owe nothing on my home loan. Has my economic situation improved just a little bit? Right there, you darn right it improved, okay? So it is a clear improvement of someone's economic condition. And that's why cancellation of debt is income, all right? It's not really, in my mind, it's not really that hard to understand, but it surprises taxpayers. Now, what do we see a lot? We see a lot of credit card debt canceled. Now, we have two publications. They're wonderful for us. They're just absolutely great. And one of them is publication 4731. Cannot open. All right. Don't know why that is. Well, let me see. I'll go to plan B. I hope this won't take me too long. I don't think it will. Probably if I went to a different browser, it would have worked. So I'll go to irs.gov, and by the way, this is not a bad example. I do this in my classroom as often as I can because irs.gov is a resource that we should all be using. Again, it's kind of one of those things, if you never go to irs.gov during the season, you're probably not doing the best job that you can. So I'll go 4731, and I'll grab 4731 there real quick. Hopefully it'll pop up. Control. Well, best laid plans. I do need to show it. Maybe, Aaron, when you think we're at the time where I need to give up on this, let me know.
It looks like it's still thinking up there.
I will give up on it.
Your thing is going
Yeah,
around.
it's spinning. See, I thought if I went to Chrome, probably gonna work.
Yeah. And then you can just copy the link over too. Searching again.
Right. Thank you. Okay, this is publication 4731, and it's meant for us. It's really awesome. This is credit card debt. Did the taxpayer receive a 1099-C? You know, we've got a form. We've got a W-2. That's for wages. We've got a 1099-INT. That's for interest. We've got a form 1099-R. That's for retirement income. We've got a 1099-B. That's for when somebody sold property or stocks and bonds. We've got all sorts of 1099. 1099-C relates to when debt is canceled. Did the taxpayer receive 1099-C or other documentation if it's less than 600? Because at less than 600, they don't have to send out the form, but it's still just as taxable under 600. It's just that they don't have to send out the formal form. Did the taxpayer receive 1099-C? Yes. Go to step 2. Was the credit card related to a business? Yes. Go to step 6. No. Go to step 3. Now, what happens when it says go to step 6? Step 6 is this tax issue is out of scope. So whenever we get to step 6, guys, we're out of there. We can't do the return. We can't do the return. So it's kind of a short, sweet, abrupt end to an interview. and I know that Aaron would encourage you to try to be as gentle as we can about it, but at that point, we need to extricate ourselves from this tax return, and we need to start helping somebody else, okay?
And just
But-
real briefly, I see a lot of books are open. It seems like some of you have found it, but this is page D46 in your 4012.
Oh, good. Thank
So
you.
yes,
Thanks,
that
Aaron,
worksheet
so
you don't
much.
even have to.
I don't even know if I knew that,
Yeah.
that it was there. Okay, thank you. Okay, so was credit card related to business? No. Go to step 3. Does box 3 show any interest, meaning interest related to this debt cancellation, or was box 6 check to indicate bankruptcy? If yes, go to step 6. We're out of there. Okay? Was the taxpayer insolvent immediately before debt? Insolvency in general, and my accounting majors in the room, and I know there's some from both institutions here today, insolvency essentially means that their liabilities, right, on the accounting equation, their liabilities exceed their assets. And so that is immediately before cancellation of debt. So right before the debt's canceled, we say, what was your situation right before the debt was canceled? Well, I had assets of $10,000 and I had liabilities of $12,000. They were insolvent. That's an exception to having to report the income, but it's beyond scope for us. All right? So you're in a public accounting office, you're going, yes, I found a way that they don't have to report the income. For us, it just means, sorry, I cannot do your tax return. Okay? Let's see, step 5, the cancellation of non-indebtedness must be reported as ordinary income. So really, they're just, at that point, if you get to step 5, they're telling you how to report it. If you get to step 6, we're out of there. Okay, so that's the 4731. Now I'm gonna take a bit of a shortcut here. 4731A relates to the forgiveness of debt when it relates to usually homes, someone's home. The key to that is that in the case of a home being foreclosed upon, we really have 2 events that we need to consider. One is the cancellation of debt. And basically, that's a matter of, did you have debt forgiven? Yes, I did. Do we know of any exceptions? No, we don't. We got to report it. Did you have debt forgiven? Yes, I did. Do we know of exceptions? Yes, we do know of exceptions. Sorry, I can't do your return. But the other side of it, when it is the 1099A, which relates to this other publication, 4731-8, the other side of it is we also have a sale of a home that we need to consider. We need to consider the fact that they have disposed of property, okay, and we need to treat it as a sale of a home. Now, often if they lived in that home, we can exclude the gain. So here's sort of bottom line to it. Again, 30,000 feet viewpoint of it. 1099-C, usually going to relate to credit cards. Just walk through this list. If we make it to step 5, report it. That's all there is to it. You just report it. It's not really very complicated at that point. If it's the 1099-A, we've got the debt cancellation side to consider, but we also have sale of property to consider. Okay, and that can get that. There's complication. I'm not going to kind of minimize that. There's definitely definitely some complexity. Questions or concerns? All right. So really, cancel 1099-C, 1099-A. Get your nose in 4731 and go from there.